Hey everyone, Marshall Apologist here, and a buddy of mine linked to an article that really ticked them off, so that's why I'm actually responding to it at all. Normally I don't read the Daily Mail, but in this case, it was linked on Facebook, so I thought, why not? We'll see if we can take a little of the piss out of this thing. It was about how basically benevolent sexism is bad, and it defines benevolent sexism as things like opening the door for a woman, or possibly tipping your hat to her, or specifically it lists saving the women and children off of a boat first. Or it didn't say children; it just said women, of course, because it's biased and liberal nonsense. Um, and he just goes on with all sorts of modern feminist nonsense. And it really it bothered my friend quite a bit and put him in a bad headspace for a day. So I thought, hey, let's make fun of this thing and we'll be in this together. It's actually my second take in the video. I didn't like the first one. So let's see here. Yeah, benevolent sexism in disguise is what it refers to. This what was once known as being polite to women. Standing up when they walk into a room, pulling a chair up for her, so on. And it starts off with experts say, and then goes on through the entire article citing pretty much nothing. There may have been somewhere in the footnotes of the thing where it talked about who was actually saying this and why. Um, it really didn't pepper individual citations. It had quotes, but no actual page citations of a study of any relevant sort. That's just stupid. But whatever. I mean, I'm an expert. I can say something. I'll cite the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then actually not link to it anywhere or say what graph I got any of my info from. Apparently, that's okay to do. First and foremost, kind of an order of the thing was it listed these actions as being as being paternal. I don't think they understand the definition of the word paternal. It comes from the Greek pater. It means fatherly. Okay, so you had a father who might want to protect people and so on in his family, which is actually his job. Because he's done his job. He's had kids. Um, yeah. So okay, I don't know if these people are really messed up in the head. I've never opened the door for a woman because I thought of her as my daughter. Never happened. Never will happen. Never gonna. I guess unless I actually have a daughter, that may. It's stupid because okay, there are two or three main reasons why a man might open the door for a woman. One, his mother may have simply raised him to do so. He may honestly to God just think he's being polite and that it's the right thing to do, and he may feel moral guilt for not having done it. That's one. He may view her as a common equal in the world and somewhat like a sister, and the thought may be in his head that, well, I would really appreciate it if people would treat my sister this way, and we open doors for her and be polite and be nice and friendly and open. And protective behavior they list as well. And if I had, I have two half sisters and a stepsister, and yeah, I would appreciate it that if if they were being attacked, that if a man would come to help them if they could not handle it themselves, or frankly anyone, but usually men, because frankly they're just physically more fit for it. It's the truth. Get over it if you don't like that. I don't care about your feelings at all. I really only care about reality and evidence and hard science and things of that nature. And reality and hard science has said that men are, in fact, more adept at war. Don't care about the mental or emotional side of it. Irrelevant, because the first thing you have to do in protecting someone is not be harmed while harming someone else. That's the point of protecting. And men are just more capable of that on average. There's another definition problem I have here. It's called benevolent sexism is insidious by nature. No, it's not. It can't be. That'd be like saying being friendly to someone is actually very hostile. No, it's not. See, exact same being kind could be being insidious. Like, no, those are antonyms by their nature. You can't be benevolent and insidious. Insidious implies you're attempting to harm someone subtly. There has to be an intent of harm in being insidious, because you can't by accident be insidious at all. So if you're being benevolent, actually, you can't actually be insidious. Got a note here. Then it goes on for the saving women first in a ship scenario. And there's a really good reason for that. It's the same reason why men go to war, historically, and women don't. And why, frankly, we should still do that unless we want a negatively declining birth rate like we, have in most of the first world. So probably ought to stop doing some stupid things that we've been doing. Incentivizing people to not have children being one of them. Regardless. Men can produce children according to the whims of as many women in the society will let them. Okay, so if you have 1,000 men and you have 1,000 women, you have potentially 1,000 pairs for reproduction. Okay, 1,000 women could potentially have a child that given year, assuming they're childbearing age. Okay, if you have 5 men and 1,000 women, you could potentially generate 1,000 pregnant women in the exact same year, because those men can have sex with those women, and it doesn't have to be a one-for-one correspondence if their population is in decline. See, that you can get rid of all the men, and you can still have the same number of children, as long as you have at least one. Well, if it's 1 to 1,000 ratio, he's probably got to be hardy. But something tells me he could plug away. No euphemism intended there. That's why. In case you ever wondered why it is men go to war, it's to protect the women and the children. Why? To protect the children. See, because if less than half the men come back, you can still have the same number of children, at least in theory. If you have half the women come back from battle to protect the men, you can now only have half the number of children. Generally, a growing population birth rate rise is a really good thing for your economy and political structure. And a declining population is really, really bad. You'll see this work out in China here very, very soon. So there's that. And the best part of all, it mentions that the men who they found to have more benevolent sexist attitudes had a warmer and friendlier conversation with the women after the testing was done, and they were more willing to have the attitude of sacrificing themselves for the women, which of course the women just must hate. I mean, I know that I can't stand when someone is warm and friendly to me. That's horrible. Run for the hills. Wow. That apparently that's a problem now. I wasn't aware. I need to be a dick to everybody. That's a good thing, apparently. I don't understand. Or I'm not supposed to be hostile towards people, I guess, or friendly. I'm just supposed to be cruise neutral with everyone at all times. Apparently, that's what people really want in a conversation. I have no idea. I just and the sacrificing themselves for the women thing. Like, again, I heard a comedian one time say that there are no feminists in a burning building. They say, as soon as the building is on fire, all the women are running around screaming, "Save me first." I don't know if that's actually true. I'm sure there are at least some feminists who would, probably demand that everybody be marched out single file regardless of gender, but that's not most. Not most people, in any case. And the best part of all this, for me, is if I were to take this, and I were to make this about any other topic in history, if I were to make this be about benevolent religiosism, I don't know if that's a term, we're going to make it one, where you're in a country where the people in power are Christians and there are, say, Muslims that are also there. And, you know, I can't imagine a scenario where, you know, there would be a number of Christians, maybe some are hostile to the Muslims, but others are benevolent to them, and the Muslims complain about both of them. I mean, can you even imagine what that would look like? I mean, who would be like, oh, you're being patronizing for, you know, protecting me from the violent people. No, that during the Holocaust, there were, or yeah, I guess during that whole entirety of World War II, there were some, you know, French people and German people and Polish people who were helping Jews escape and live and survive, and there were some who were trying to kill them and turning them over hand over fist whenever they could to the Nazis. I've never heard of a story where the people trying to save the Jewish people during World War II were, you know, benevolent ethno-klingsists or some silly thing. Like, this is the Daily Mail article is on par with that. It's saying, you know, don't treat anybody, you know, especially well, even if they are somehow in need of being treated well. Just treat everybody, I guess, with complete and utter indifference, regardless of their circumstance. It baffles me. It baffles me to the tune of people, you know, wacko feminists, way out there, left-wingers, saying things like, well, you know, not all men rape, but all women must live in fear of men raping them, of all men raping them, or whatever. Which is just awesome if you turn that around to, well, not all white people are robbed by black people, but all white people have to live in fear of blacks robbing them. Suddenly that becomes racist, but the other thing isn't sexist. I don't know. But yeah, no, this was this was funny. This was a lot of fun to look at and laugh at. And that is what you should do, by the way. Please don't get angry at, you know, the crazy wackos out there. Don't, you know, try to be militant back against them. Don't cry. Don't be sad. Don't get angry. Don't scream. Just stick your finger in their eye. Here you go. Yeah, just put your finger in their eye and laugh at them really, really hard. Because that's what they deserve.